Hello, dear viewers. My name is Dr. Mohmad Pandit, Assistant Professor at the English Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today, in this video lecture, I would like to deliberate on the most discussed topic, that is discovering the self or self-discovery. Here, we will discuss about what's self-discovery, and then what's the role of self-discovery, and at last we will see different strategies in order to gain or foster the self-discovery. Let us start with the definition. What's the self-discovery? Before I start this definition, I would like to make it clear that here, this topic, the self-discovery or discovering the self, this is the most often discussed topic, both in metaphysical and philosophical elements. There are different books written on this topic, but in the context of philosophy or metaphysics. But here, we are talking about this topic, the discovering self in professional setting. Therefore, here we need to make it clear that here we are not going to discuss about metaphysics, or we are not going to discuss about the philosophy. Okay, to start with definition. What's this self-discovery or discovering the self? Self-discovery refers to the process through which individuals gain deeper insight into themselves. Now, it's the process through which a person gains a deeper insight into himself or herself. And once again, it's all about one's inner being. It's about one's emotions. It's about one's beliefs. It's about one's strengths. It's about one's weaknesses. That's why we say it involves exploring one's beliefs, values, strengths, weaknesses, passions, and for that matter, it can be anything, motivation, emotions. And in self-discovery, a person tries to explore his or her emotions, feelings, thoughts, weakness, and strengths. But here, one thing that I want to make clear is that it's not only to know about oneself. In fact, yes, of course, it's about to know oneself, but it's more than that. That's why we say self-discovery is not just about understanding who you are in the present moment, but also about uncovering potential for growth and development. Therefore, we can say that the self-discovery, on the one hand, is about to know about oneself. And at the same time, it's about uncovering one's potential for growth and development. To know oneself, it's not enough. Why we know, why we try to, why we take different endeavors to know ourselves is to uncover potential for growth and development. And that's the ultimate end. When we try to know ourselves, when we try to get into the realm of our emotions, passions, thoughts, it's not for the mere purpose of discovering self. Here, discovering self, it's a means, and the end is to uncover potential for growth and development. That's very important. That's why at the beginning I made it clear that here we are not going to talk about metaphysics, we are not going to talk about philosophy. That's why here, when we try to discover ourselves, we have a purpose, and that purpose is to uncover the potential for growth and development. It's not discovering self for the sake of discovery. No. Here, now, what's the role of this self-discovery? Why is it important? Why we always try to discover ourselves? Here, the first and the foremost thing is awareness. This self-discovery, it fosters self-awareness, helps individuals recognize their own emotions, thoughts, and behavior. And this awareness is foundational for developing emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. Again, this what's the role of this self-discovery? Its role is to the first and the foremost thing is the awareness. It fosters self-awareness. It helps individuals recognize their own emotions, their own thoughts, and their own behaviors. And this awareness, as I told you, is the foundation for developing emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. That's why when you know yourself, when you become aware about your thoughts, emotions, and behavior, surely this awareness will foster, it will foster emotional intelligence, it will foster interpersonal skills in you. That's why it's important. And the next one is the authenticity. This self-discovery encourages individuals to embrace their authentic selves. By understanding their values and beliefs, they can align their actions with their true identity and principles. This is very important. The self-discovery encourages individuals to embrace their authentic selves, who in reality you are. And when we recognize our authentic selves, when we recognize this authentic selves, surely we can be in a position to align our actions with our true identity and principles. That's why it's very important. And the next important point is the personal growth. This self-discovery or discovering the self, it supports personal growth and emotional, or for that matter, any type of improvement. Through self-reflection and exploration, individuals can identify areas for development and set meaningful goals. These all things are related. For example, when we say this self-discovery, it is important in a sense that it supports our personal growth and continuous improvement. And when we, for example, when we reflect on ourselves and try to explore ourselves and try to identify our weakness and our strengths, in this manner, we always try to make improvement where we find we are weak. That's why we say Through self-reflection and exploration, individuals can identify areas for development and set meaningful goals. For example, when we see that on certain areas I am weak, therefore I always try to develop, I always try to uh, first of all identify those areas, and then I try to make them more and more fruitful, of more and more strong for that matter. And the next one is empowerment. It empowers individuals to take ownership of their learning and development. The self-discovery, it empowers individuals, or it empowers a person to take ownership of his learning and development. And by understanding their strengths and weaknesses, they can make informed choices and take proactive steps towards achieving their aspirations. That's why it's so important. And the next one is their career development. The self-discovery, it helps in a person to identify his career interests, his passion, his goals. It enables a person to make career decisions that align with their values and aspirations. That's why we say it's very important, because it helps us to clarify it, one's career interest is one's passion, one's goals. And in this manner, a person is in a position to make career decisions and that align with his values and aspirations. And the next one is relationship build. That's very important. In any professional setting, we need this relationship building. And here, understanding one's self is essential for building uh, healthy relationships. When you know yourself, when you know your emotions, when you know your passion, surely you will be in a position to develop a relationship with others. That's why we say, in fact, not only a relationship, you are able to create or build healthy relationships. That's why it promotes empathy, it promotes effective communication, and the ability to cooperate with diverse teams. In any professional setting, you need to develop a relationship with other faculty members or with other colleagues. And this self-discovery, it helps you to develop a healthy relationship with others. Because here, this self-discovery, it promotes empathy in you. It promotes effective communication and the ability to cooperate with diverse teams. Now, the next important thing is strategies for discovering the self. And here we have we can employ different strategies in order to discover self. And the first one is the self-reflection exercise. This is very important, self-reflection exercise. This could include journaling prompts about one's strengths, values, passion, and area for growth. Here, reflective writing can prove very fruitful to gain insight into one's strength, into one's emotions, and into one's feelings or aspirations. That's why we often advise students to get involved in reflective writing, so that they can express their mind. They can express their mind and hearts. And the ultimate aim is to discover oneself. That's why we say this reflective writing can help gain insight into one's thoughts, into one's emotions, or into one's feelings or aspirations. And the second important point is personality assessments. We have different personality assessment tests. Like we have the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, commonly known as MBTI. We have Big Five Personality Traits Test, or we have DISC Profile. These all personality assessment tests provide one with insight into preferences, into communication styles, and work preferences. Although these tests, they are not purely scientific, but we can adopt them in order to assess one's preferences, one's emotional state, or one's communication style. And the next important strategy is the strengths assessment. And this assessment, it helps students to identify their strengths using tools like the Clifton Strength Assessment. And here, understanding one's strength can empower students to leverage these qualities in their academic pursuits and future career paths. If you know what are your strengths, you can employ, you can utilize, or you can make use of these strengths in order to foster your academic pursuit or in order to foster your future career. That's why here we have some tests. We have the Clifton Strength Assessment Test. You can make use of this test in order to assess your strength and thereafter employ the strength to foster your career. And the next one is the value clarification. Guide students in identifying their core values. Discuss the importance of aligning personal values with academic and career goals. Activities such as ranking values or exploring real life dilemmas can facilitate deeper understanding. This value clarification, it can guide students to identify their core values. And here, we should discuss the importance of aligning these personal values with academic and career goals. Sometimes we neglect these values at the expense of our career development or mean things. But these are important for the holistic personality. That's why these are very important. One should be clear about one's values. And thereafter, he or she can align these values with their career development. And the next important point is the goal setting. And this goal setting, it assists the students in setting SMART. And the SMART stands for the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals related to one's personal and professional development. It encourages students to consider short-term and long-term goals that align with their values and strengths. Therefore, it's very important. Here we can encourage students for the SMART goals. Goals that are related to their personal and professional development. And the next one is the feedback and self-assessment. We should incorporate peer feedback and self-assessment exercise into our teachings. and provide structure opportunities for students to evaluate their own progress in acquiring soft skills such as communication, teamwork, and leadership. Therefore, it's very important here. We have two types of feedbacks. One is given by the teacher, and the second one is the self assessment. We should encourage students for the self assessment so that they can identify their strengths and weakness and thereafter make good use of these strengths and work on their weaknesses in order to uh, excel in their career. And the next important thing is role playing and simulations. This hand-on approach allows them to experiment with different behaviors and receive constructive feedback in a safe environment. Here it's very important. This role playing and simulation, we should adopt these things in order to so that the students can discover themselves. They can discover where they are lacking in communication, where they are lacking in different, for example, etiquettes, where they are lacking in the sentence structures, where they are whether they have good at grammar or for that matter anything. Therefore, we should adopt these role playing and simulation. And here it can help students to discover themselves. And the next one is the career exploration. It explore various career paths that align with your interests, skills, and values. Help them understand how developing soft skills can enhance their employability and contribute their professional success. Here, we can adopt this career exploration also. And the next one is the networking and mentorship. Facilitate network opportunities and mentorship programs where students can learn from experienced individuals or from peers and gain insight into career pathways. That's very important, this networking and mentorship. As students can gain different experiences from the learned ones or the peers or the experienced one. And they can make or they can employ those experiences in their own career development. And the next one is the mindfulness and emotional intelligence. Introduce mindfulness techniques and practices to help students develop emotional intelligence. Emphasize skills such as self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and effective interpersonal relations. That's very important that we should make students aware about this mindfulness and emotional intelligence so that they can foster in any setting or in any work setting or in any profession. That's very important for these students. And the next one is the ethical decision making. Discuss ethical dilemmas and encourage students to reflect on their personal values and ethical principles. For example, students have many ethical confusions or they have many ethical dilemmas at the different stage of their life. Therefore, we should encourage students to express those dilemmas, to express those so that we can give the good advice or so that we can help them develop their critical thinking skills and ability to make them ethical decisions in various contexts. And now, by integrating these strategies into your teaching approach, you can empower students to discover their authentic selves, develop essential soft skills, navigate their academic and professional journeys with clarity and confidence. These are the references for further reading. Hope you have understood this topic. We will meet in another video with a different topic. Till then, goodbye.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.